Welcome to the Rise of the Trades podcast, the show dedicated to helping you to build, grow, and scale your trades or construction business. All rise for your host, Craig Wilkinson.
Welcome to this week's coaching episode of the Rise of the Trades podcast, where we help trades and construction business owners to skyrocket leads, explode net profits without having to graft 60 hours a week and becoming that busy fool. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you how you can save time and get more done, and the essential time management strategies that you need to help you save time and grow your trades or construction business. But before we go there, I'd just like to ask you a quick favour. And if you're getting value from any of my podcast episodes, could I please ask you to hit the subscribe or follow button on whatever platform you're listening to my podcast on? Because by doing that, it's going to help the algorithm push these episodes out to more tradesmen and women that actually need our help. Now, let's transition over to this week's coaching episode. One of the biggest questions I'm always asked is this: Craig, honestly, how did you go from being that busy full joiner, working 90 hours a week for over a decade, sacrificing that quality time that you should have been spending with your family, working evenings, doing all your paperwork and your quotes, working weekends because you're behind on jobs and you're having to pull jobs forward, so you've got to work a weekend? How did you go from being that busy fool to actually where you are today? And one of the big things that I did is focusing on my time management. Because back when I first started my joinery and building company in 1994, I had no idea about time management. I just thought the harder I work, the longer hours I put in, the more jobs I bring in, the more vans I get on the road, the more jobs I have running, the more money I'm going to make. And ultimately, this is what led me to becoming that busy fool, because I had no strategy. But the main thing is, I didn't value the currency of time. You see, you don't need me to tell you this, but I need to reinforce it. Time is the most valuable currency any of us have got. There are only 168 hours in a week. You've got no more than me, you've got no less than me. So how can it be that now I run 4 businesses and have still got time spare at the end of the week to enjoy doing what I want to do? And that's because I got absolutely anal when it came to time management. Where does every single minute of my day go? Everything is planned out and meticulously measured. So what we have to understand is, with time being the most valuable currency we have, how can we manage that time to get more done in less time? How can we become more productive and more efficient and actually have a business that does make us profit without us having to work stupid hours a week? And the trap that I fell into back in my first 12 years of running my business was I was constantly chasing money. I wasn't valuing my time. I was trading my time for money. You see, I thought if I could get more money, that would ultimately solve all the problems that I got. But the real issue here is not the money. You can make more money. I can teach you how to make more money, but put your prices up today by 10%. Job done. You've made more money. But when we get into the business, we realise that our time is most valuable. And if we're not investing our time into the right places of our business and we continue to wing it, we continue to grow it like I did, you'll end up with the same problems and regrets that I've had. And listen, I've got regrets. You know, back in them early days, I had a young family, and I could probably count on one hand how many times I took my kids to school over, say, 15 years they were going through school. The amount of sports days and nativity plays that I've missed at school. The days out with the family, working weekends and having to put a weekend shift in when I should have been spending time going out with my family and doing the things that we enjoyed. All my hobbies fell by the wayside. The five-a-side football, the going to the gym and all that lot disappeared. And don't even get me talking about holidays, because I've actually booked holidays and paid for deposits for holidays to places like Lanzarote, and the week before we're due to go, we've not gone. Not necessarily because we didn't have the money, but because I daren't leave the business for 2 weeks because I knew that while I were away, I wouldn't have a holiday. I'd be walking around pool on my phone constantly, dealing with firefighting with my team and with my customers while I should have been on holiday. And that would have even put more stress on my relationships back home. Are you with me? So I've made all the classic mistakes, but until you get to the point where you start valuing your time more than you value your money, you'll always be that busy fool. And do you know what the danger is, in all honesty? The danger is this. You know, like when I look back in my 20s, because I was 23 years old when I set up my business. When I look back in my 20s now, I think, do you know what? My life is just starting. I have got so much time. I'm only in my 20s. I've got decades and decades and decades and decades to go. So in your 20s, you don't appreciate the value of time. You waste so much time. But then something changes through your 30s and into your 40s in the fact that you start settling down. You know, we start having commitments and we have main priorities. And for many of us in his 30s and 40s, we end up getting married or a partner. For some of us, we end up with building a family and we've got kids. Our businesses now are starting to grow and we've got so many plates that we're spinning, trying to keep the relationships at home alive, trying to keep the business alive, trying to dedicate some me time to yourself for your own sanity. It's difficult in your 30s and 40s. But let me tell you now, you know, when you hit 50, and I really don't mean to be, what's the word I'm looking for? The word I'm looking for here is patronising, right? I'm not trying to patronise anyone. But you know, the day I hit 50, my whole life changed. Because you look at it and you go, how the hell did I get to 50? And at that point, you realise you are well past halfway through point in your life. But in your 50s, it doesn't really get any easier because through the decade, I'm 55 now, so through the age of the 50s, you know, you've got elderly parents and you've got people that are older than you that, you know, need help and support. I've never been to so many funerals than I have done in my 50s, right? Because the people, family, friends who are older than you, you know, we need to take care of them. Our kids usually start growing and leaving home, going to university, getting a job, moving out of your home. And you start to challenge yourself as a person and you start to get a bit frightened, which is where I am now in my 50s. I'm frightened to death, honestly. I'm scared to death of running out of time. And my word right now, and, you know, you speak to my inner circle members and they know this, my word right now is longevity. How can I stay on this planet as long as I can to enjoy it, but also be there for my kids and my grandkids and watch them growing up? Now, I'm fortunate in the point now where my business has given me the time back. But I dread to think and I shiver at the thought that all those people in the 30s, 40s and 50s that are continuously being a busy fool and they're still working on tools and they're battering the bodies, I fear for those people because if they get into the 50s and they haven't got a business that's running like clockwork, I don't know how you'd cope. Because life in your 50s is the most challenging decade that you've got. So with all this going on, I started to understand the value of time. And I had to say to myself, Craig, you've got to stop chasing the money. Yes, you need to bring the money in because you've made some poor financial decisions in the past that caught up with me years ago. So I had to graft every hour God sends to pay the debts off. But when I got the debts paid off, I was in a position then where I thought, right, I've got to structure this business that's going to give me my time back first. And then with that time, And with the choice that I have and where I want to invest that time, I can then put that time into building and growing the business the right way rather than winging it like I've been doing for those 12 first years I've been in business. Are you with me? So we have to understand that time is the most valuable currency that you've got. But in your 20s, you'll take no notice of me. In your 30s and 40s, you'll understand it because you've got that many commitments and kids and family life and all that lot, you're juggling plates. And if you continue doing that into your 50s, then God help you, seriously. So going back to that question, Craig, how did you do it? There wasn't just one thing that I did that instantly got all of my time back. It were a multitude of different things that I had to do, different strategies that I brought in that over time compounded, and then I started to see my time coming back. And then when you start to see your time coming back, whatever you're doing is clearly working, so we're going to do more of it. Are you with me? So there's no magic pill to this. There's no silver bullet. You've got to implement the 4 steps that I'm going to share with you now. And the sooner you get on with this, the sooner you're going to get your time back. But let me tell you, in all honesty, for me to actually get my time back from working 90 hours a week to the point where I was when I sold my construction business, I were only working a day to 2 days a week, making more money than I'd ever made before and having a business that ran like clockwork. To get to that point took me 18 months. So I don't want to be saying to you, just do 1 or 2 or just do these 4 things next week and then all of a sudden miraculously a miracle will happen and you'll get all your time back, because it doesn't work that way. Because implementing some of these strategies that I'm going to share with you now is going to take your time. But if you start it and get your head down and you get stuck in 18 months' time to 2 years' time, I guarantee that you'll have all the time back and you'll have a business that's running like clockwork. So grab your notepads, pens and tablets and let's get stuck in. Now in this chapter, I'm going to start to share with you the 4 steps. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to give you another podcast episode that's going to help you get laser focused on each one of these 4 steps, right? So I'm going to give you the strategy around it, and then I'm going to at the end say, right, go and have a listen to episode number, whatever it is, and that is going to delve down and go into that strategy in a lot more detail, okay? So we're really going to get into that granular minor detail to help you achieve these 4 steps, all right? So step number 1, make a note of this. I want you to write down the word niching your products and services. Niching your products and services. And what I mean by this is I'm going to give you an example of myself, right? I'm a bench joiner by trade. So my 5-year apprenticeship back in late 80s were a bench joiner. So when I first set up my business, I first set up a joiner shop and we used to manufacture doors, windows, stairs, conservatories, etc. But obviously as a bench joiner then manufacturing, I then asked, could you install as well? So over them first 12 years, I went from being a manufacturing joiner, a bench joiner, to doing first fix, second fix, finishing joinery. We could house bash. I could build you an extension. I could refurbish your house. We did shop fitting and bar fitting. We did it all. Why? Because as a skilled joiner, we could do all that. So guess what I did in them first 12 years? I marketed my business as a joinery and building company that did all of those services because we could do it. So 1 week we'd be building an extension. The next job we might be doing a refurb. In between all that, we'd be manufacturing a bar and a back bar. Then we'd go to other end of the country and fit it in a pub. We were doing all that and more. So back in the early 90s when I first got my website, guess what I put on my website? Exactly. We do bang, 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 bang all over the side of my vans. We got all these services. But what I learned, and it took me 12 years to learn this, is by not niching down, I'd created a monster. And the reason why I created a monster is, how can you become an absolute expert and systemize and automate your entire business when you're doing 15 different services? And this is not like a slight difference in change. You know, if we're manufacturing a 6-kite winding flight of stairs to fit in a loft conversion, that's a completely different process that we go through if we were building a bar and then going and doing a shop fit on a project. Two different, completely different processes. So trying to systemize and automate a business that does too many products and services is a big mistake. And then on top of all that, how do you get your marketing strategy right when you're having to market 15 different things? I mean, come on, that's 15 different pages on your website, or 15 different landing pages, 15 different vetting forms, 15 different automations that need building, 15 different customer journeys that need building. It's an absolute nightmare. And then on top of that, it's like, hang on a minute, Craig, you're doing all these different things and you're busy, but you're not making any money. And that's because some jobs that we were actually working on, we broke even on. Some type of jobs, mainly the shop fitting, we lost money on. And then there were other jobs that we were doing that were smaller jobs on his doorstep in Sheffield, and they were making us profit. But because I never tracked my numbers, because I didn't understand them, and I weren't looking at the profit and loss on each job, I had no idea what was making me the money, breaking even, or losing money. And when I brought my business coach into my business 19 years ago, he said to me, Craig, there's no wonder you're a busy fool. I'm like, why? He's like, you've not even niched down. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean niche down? I'm a joiner. I can do all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, you can do it all. Doesn't mean to say you've got to do it all. He says, what's your most profitable products and service that you offer? I says, I don't know. I'm working 90 hours a week. He's like, don't you keep track of all your numbers in your business? I'm like, flipping heck, I ain't got time to do that. I'm just a busy fool. It's like job to job. So what I learned in my early days of my coaching was we have to, number one, look at the numbers in the business. And we have to look at what is the most profitable service that you offer. Once we know what that is, we then build a marketing strategy around marketing that 1, 2, or maybe 3 profitable products and services. And once we're getting the marketing right and we're bringing the right quality leads in, the next stage is how can we systemize and automate the business for them 1, 2, or 3 services that you're offering, and not the 15 where we're offering previously. And when all this was explained to me, the penny finally dropped. And it's this: you might be the best heating engineer, tiler, plasterer, roofer, scaffolder, whatever on the planet. But if you're not niching down and you're doing all different types of works for all different types of customers just to keep busy, then all you're going to be is a busy fool that's going to be breaking even or making a small profit at that. When I understood this and I started looking at the numbers in the business and tracking my profit and loss on each job, it materialised that out of every single type of service that we could offer, and we offered a lot, it materialised that loft conversions, out of everything we did, made us the most amount of profit. So what did I do? I took that knowledge and then said, hang on, if lofts make us the most amount of profit and it's all local work on my doorstep, if I get the marketing strategy right around loft conversions, and I got that right, and then I started to systemize and automate my business, so all we ever did were loft conversions, how easy would that be? So what I decided to do is set up a separate loft conversion company. And I got laser focused on the marketing for that business. And then all of a sudden we started to attract leads that were coming in. Now, there wasn't enough leads coming in to keep what I had going at that point. I had 17 lads working for me. So I'd not got enough loft conversion leads coming in at that point to keep 17 of us going. But what I did start to do is generate loft conversion leads that might have kept 4 or 5 of them going, and we had 2 loft conversions running at any one time. So now, running those 2 lofts became easy because I was attracting the right customers. I'd systemised the business so it was starting to run like clockwork. And on top of that, the lads that were building lofts, it was like a military operation because that's all they ever did. Then they got used to the way in which we built lofts. So how we sped up the process and how we got more productive and organised came from repeatedly doing lofts. Are you with me? Now, I still had to keep doing the other stuff up until the point where the marketing really kicked in. And then we started generating enough leads coming in to keep everybody going, doing loft conversions. And at that point, I had to make a big decision. I had to let go of all the other services that we'd been offering for 12 years previous to that point, which were difficult because I'd got customers, I'd built good relationships, I'd got some good commercial clients, and I had to say to them, no, we're not doing your work anymore. And therefore, I turned all my attention to the service that, number one, made me the most amount of profit. Number 2 was a doddle to market because I'm only marketing one customer journey to one target market. And then number 3, I systemised the business so it ran like clockwork and it were easy to do because it were only doing one thing. Are you with me? Now, this is the starting point of you getting back your time. Because if you're rushing around doing all different types of jobs for all different types of customers, it means your marketing's going to be all over the show. It means that you've not systemised your business. It means that your lads are being pulled from pillar to post and there's no rhythm and there's no pattern and there's no productivity happening because they're all over the show. And that is a recipe for becoming the ultimate busy fool. So step number 1 is you've got to niche down. And how you start to niche down is by listening in detail to episode number 32. Because in episode 32, I go into the full-blown details of how to niche your business down and do it correctly. No winging it, no making it up, no having a stab at it. No, you're not. You're going to listen to episode 32 and you're going to follow the strategy in that, and then you're going to work on niching your business down because that's the first part of getting your time back. And also, think about it, you're also going to become more profitable because in niching down, you've got to look at your numbers, and some of you won't be looking at your numbers. So it's going to not only save you time and speed the process up, it's going to improve your cash flow and you're going to be making more profit. Step number 2 that we need to add into our strategy is write the word down, systems. Systems. Now, let me tell you now, seriously, if you want to get the maximum amount of time back in your business, the number 1 way of doing that is implementing systems into your business. Systems, procedures, and automations. Get them in your business because honestly, it's an absolute game changer. If you were to put a post into our Trades Freedom Club Facebook group or into our Growth Club and ask people how much time has having systems in your business saved you, it's honestly transformational. It's the biggest amount of time you'll ever save by implementing systems and procedures. Now, what I mean by systems is you've got to first of all flow out what your customer journey is of a customer that generates a lead and you get a lead, and then all the different steps and stages that you need to take that customer through to end up becoming a paying customer, finish the job, and get a 5-star review video testimonial at the end. What are all the different steps and stages that you take a customer through? And this might vary depending on the service that you're offering. So, for example, let's say you are a Sparky, right? And you fit EV chargers. The customer journey from that lead coming in all the way through for you doing that job and getting a 5-star review, there is a different customer journey that you would take somebody through if they were having a rewire off you. Because there's different steps and different stages that need to happen. And what we've got to do is we've got to flow that customer journey out, get it out of his heads and down onto some paper or onto some software to flow it out so you can see what every single step and stage that you go through from start to finish. Now, once you've mapped out that customer journey, the next thing that we've got to look at is I need a piece of software that's going to manage that customer journey and automate that customer journey right from that lead coming in all the way through to that 5-star review being triggered. And what piece of software can I use that's going to help me to systemize and automate that entire customer journey and therefore that entire part of your business? And the 2 pieces of software that we would recommend, these aren't the only 2, by the way. You can go, I don't mind what software you use as long as you're getting your time back. But we work heavily with 2 pieces of software that every trades business could use. Number 1 is a piece of software called Leadzilla. And Leadzilla is going to look after all of your marketing and all of your sales to get to a point where you've won that job. So, for example, inside Leadzilla, you could build your own website. You could build your own landing page. Because ultimately, we need to send traffic back to your website, or we need to send traffic back to a landing page. But then when we get them back to the landing page, what's the next step in the customer journey? Well, the next step is we need them to go through a vetting form. We don't just want them filling a contact us form out because we've got no idea at that point if they are a time waster or they're serious. So we'd send them through a vetting form. Inside Leadzilla, you can build your own vetting form. Then from that vetting form, you might want to send them to an appointment calendar to book a survey in with you. Because you've vetted them, you know they've got the budget, you know the time scales fit, because you've just done that through the vetting. So then what you'd do is you'd send them to an appointment calendar to book a survey in with you. You build the appointment calendar and the survey inside Leadzilla. But when they book the survey, you want to send emails, text messages and WhatsApps, don't you? Confirming that that appointment has been booked. And inside that email, text and WhatsApp needs to be a link to you in a video sharing who you are, what's going to happen when you come to that survey. So you're building that know, like, trust and confidence into equation. All that lot can be done inside Leadzilla. Then you want reminders triggering emails, texts and WhatsApps, maybe a day before to remind the customer that you're coming. That's done inside Leadzilla. Then once you've been out and got your priced the job, you can come back to Leadzilla and build your quote in Leadzilla. You can attach your terms and conditions. You can do your invoicing through Leadzilla. Your customers, if they want to go ahead, can electronically sign your T's and C's within Leadzilla. Are you with me? All this lot can be done in one piece of software. All the way through to literally you can schedule your social media posts to be triggered at a certain time and a certain date throughout Leadzilla. You can run and track all your Facebook or Google ads through Leadzilla. Leadzilla's got an AI bot that you can build in that will automatically answer any questions that people might ask on a chat bot on your website and point them in the right direction. You can set Leadzilla up to automatically reply back to your 5-star Google reviews with an automated response. Are you with me? If you could imagine having a piece of software that dealt with all of that for you without you actually lifting a finger, how much time would you save? You don't have to do anything. The software does it all for you. Are you with me? So, number one, the piece of software that we recommend for sales and marketing is Leadzilla. But then, when you get the job, we need a job management piece of software that's going to help you manage the jobs. It's going to help you organise your labour. It's going to help you price jobs if you want to price jobs in it. It's going to help you communicate with your customer. You can set it up whereby within a certain radius of that customer's property, they get a nice text message sent to them because GPS has tracked where you are. Inside that piece of software, you can get your team to fill out forms. Maybe they get to the end of the job and they've got to tick off a snagging form before they leave the job to tick off everything's been done. That then sends that form and a report automatically over to your customer. Maybe you want your team taking photographs or videos of the job at certain stages, not only to keep your customer updated with progress, but to keep you updated with progress. But then them photos and videos, you can download and use them on your social media content. Are you with me? Now, that piece of software, the job management piece of software that we recommend is called ServiceMate. ServiceMate. And if you want to start your free trials to either Leadzilla or ServiceMate, which are our partners, you can click the link in the show notes and the description of this episode to start your 14-day free trial. But either way, you are going to need some software that can be then downloaded as an app onto your phone that you and your team can have. Or if it's your team on site or on a job, they'd download the ServiceMate app and they'd be able to run the entire job through the app on the phones. And all that lot, that job management side of it, stops your team becoming babies. I call them nappies, right? Where every 5 minutes they're on phone, what happens next? And I need to make this decision and customer wants this and customer wants that. Well, listen, you get rid of all that. You get rid of having to babysit grown-ass adults when you've got systems in place because the system takes care of all the questions. The system takes care of what happens next. Are you with me? So you've got to put systems into your business. Now go back to me being that ultimate busy fool back in the 90s, right? We didn't have software. It were only 1994 when we first heard of something called the World Wide Web and websites. There were no social media. There were no apps. There were no software. There were no AI. I had to systemize. There were no automating it back then. I had to systemize my business using flipping spreadsheets and Word documents. Yet in today's day and age, we've got this software that you can have on your tablet or on your smartphone, and you can run your business from within your pocket anywhere in the world. That's freedom. That's time freedom. But you're never going to get that time freedom until you systemize your business. And when you do that, that is going to give you the biggest chunk of time back because the system is acting as you. The system is running the business. You've just built another you, but unlike you switch off at 5 o'clock, switch your work phones off and your emails and everything. The system doesn't switch off. The system's running 24/7. So if you get a lead come in at 11 o'clock on a Friday night, the system will deal with the lead. You just get up on a Monday morning and see that you've got a survey booked into your calendar and the survey and the appointments already, the customer's already been vetted. Just does it all for you. Are you with me? So when I look at how difficult this was for me back in 90s to try and get to use spreadsheets and Word documents and get everything talking together. Today's day and age, it's an absolute doddle. Yet I still can't believe how many trades, the vast majority of trades businesses haven't systemised the business. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's so simple and easy to do, but you're still not doing it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And if you did, you'd feel the benefit immediately of your time coming back. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you 3 podcast episodes to go and listen to on how to systemize and automate your entire business. So these 3 episodes, number 1 is episode number 64. And in number 64, I am chatting to and talking and interviewing the founder of a company called Flow State, Jamie Curtin. And Jamie Curtin is a gold certified ServiceMate partner. So if you want to understand how ServiceMate can help you run the job management side of your business, and this doesn't matter what trade you are, this will work for a painter and decorator, it'll work for a scaffolder, it'll work for a joiner like me, and everybody in between. Go and check out episode 64. Then I want you to go and check out episode number 72. And that is how to systemize and automate and delegate the running of your business to win back your time. That's episode 72. And then we've talked about Leadzilla. So if you want to understand how to build an automated marketing and sales funnel to systemize and automate your entire business, check out episode number 102. So they're the 3 episodes that I want you to focus on to get systemizing and automating your business. Step number 3, I want you to write down, create a default diary. You're going to create a default diary. Now, earlier in this episode, I shared with you how literally every single minute of my time is allocated. And when I say every minute, literally mean every single minute. You see, I've only got 168 hours in a week. And during that 168 hours, I've got to run 4 businesses, right? I've got to serve all our Trades Freedom Club members. I've got to do all my live coaching sessions. I've got to schedule time in like this to record and publish this podcast. I've then got 4 children and 3 grandkids and a wife that I need to dedicate time to. I've also got my hobbies. I've also got my morning routine. I've got my strict gym sessions. I've also got my faith that I'll dedicate time to. I've got all these things going off. So how can I fit all that lot into 168 hours without feeling overwhelmed, without burning out, without feeling stressed, but more importantly, without working till 10 o'clock at night and having to work weekends? Because that is just the ultimate busy fool. That's not clever. That's not big. I used to boast years ago, oh, look at all the work we've got on. Craig, are you busy? Yeah, we've got all this work on. I'm pulled out with it. I'm working till 10 o'clock at night. We're working 7 days a week. And I used to use that as a badge of honour. I used to think that working 6-7 days a week was something I should be proud of. What an absolute fool. Absolute fool I used to be. It's not a badge of honour. It's ridiculous. Where on earth, if you're working 6-7 days a week and you're working 60, 70, 80 hours, how is that good? It's not even good for your mindset, your mental health, your well-being, your relationships. It's not good that you're working all them hours. So to sort this out and how I plan everything out, I do it in what I call a default diary. Now, let me explain to you what a default diary is, and then I'll explain how you're going to use it. So default diary is an online diary. It doesn't matter whether it's a Google diary, an Outlook diary, a ServiceMate diary, a Leadzilla diary, an Apple diary. It doesn't matter as long as it's an online diary. And in this online diary, what you're going to do is you are going to start to plot on and put the time in for every defaulted task that you know that you've got to do. The reason why it's called a default diary is every day, every week, every quarter, every 6 months, every year, you default have to do things to run your business or to run your life. Well, if we know we've got to do these things, does it not make sense to put these tasks into the diary so that we're blocking time out to actually do them? Now, where I start with this is I ask myself the question, what are all the tasks that I have to do that come round once a year? And I start off with this, just relating this to my business, not my life, not my personal private life. I start off with just the business first. What are all the things that I've got to do every single year in my business? And then I'll write them down and I'll go, right, I've got to do them. So therefore, let me go into my online default diary and let me put the time in now. I've got to do them, so I might as well plan the time now. And I go and plot in all the things that I might do on an annual basis. Now, you might say, well, what would that be then, Craig? All right. Well, you've all got van insurance. That's going to need taking care of every year. And come on, you know what it's like. It's not a priority, so you leave it till last minute. And then you're flapping in the lead up to your insurance running out. And you'll either have to spend time that you haven't planned in to go and do the research and get your quotes, or you'll do what many do. I ain't got time. I'll just let it renew, and then you're getting ripped off and having your pants pulled down because they're charging you a fortune. Now, you know that you've got to deal with the vans. This also could be with tax. It could be with MOTs. It could be with servicing. You know they need doing. So why don't you just go and put that time in your diary? Because when it's in, it comes out of your head. You don't have to worry about it. And then as the time starts to get closer, it's booked in. How easy is that? Or it might be that every year you've got to finalise your end of year accounts with your accountant. And I know what you like, because I used to be the same. Your accounts, you don't enjoy it, you don't like it, it's a pain in the bum, you're too busy, I've got to go to accountants, I've got to have a meeting with accountant, they want all these invoices off me, I ain't got a system in place, my invoices are all over the show and it takes me days to pull it together and it's stressful. Why are you doing that? Number one, we've just covered systems. Your systems can sort all that out for you. Your QuickBooks, your Xero, your Free Agent, your Sage, all that lot can be done and kept up to date. But number two, if there's a meeting that you need to have, and you know that your year end is this particular date, you probably know that you're going to have a meeting a month before. You're going to have a meeting maybe closer to date. Right, go and put the time in your diary. And then you set these annual things as a reoccurring event. So once your insurance time, let's say, has been set, and you're meeting for your accountant that you know you need to have the month before, you just set it as a reoccurring event and it just puts it in forever and you forget about it. It's done. So number one, what are all the things that I do on an annual basis? Number two, then I'll say, right, what are all the things that I do on a 6-month basis? And then what I'll do is I'll write them down and then I'll go and put them in my default diary. Now, what we do, just to give you some examples, every 6 months, what we do is we review our systems, because our systems, we're always improving them. There's always a better, slicker, faster way. AI's come out, so now we're using AI in our systems, right? So we know that that needs to be reviewed. So every 6 months, we set a full day aside in our default diaries for me and my team to sit down and review our systems, right? You could do the same. You might say, right, every 6 months I sit down with my team and we have like a review. And we have like a one-to-one, and we have an evaluation of how they're going. Please tell me you're doing this, because from a leadership point of view, you've got to make sure that your team are firing on all cylinders. So at least twice a year, you need to be sitting down with your team, don't you? And having a chat with them, find out if they're okay, what's happening, how can we improve things, anything that you want to get your point across in that meeting that they're not doing quite well, you can address it. So things like that, they need to be done. So go in your default diary, set your time. Then I go, right, what do I need to do every quarter? Every 3 months, there's certain things that I need to do. Right, I write them down, I go into my default diary and I put them in. And things that you might do every quarter is your VAT return. You know your VAT return needs doing, whoever's going to do it, it's still going to take you some time to review it. Right, go and find the time in your default diary, put the time in. Another thing that you might do every quarter is you might review your prices with your suppliers, because come on, we know what they're like. You set prices with them and then all of a sudden they start creeping up, don't they? So every 3 months you might say, right, I'm going to go and play all my suppliers across, I'm going to go and play my suppliers across each other and get my prices down and review my prices every quarter. That might be something that you want to do. Okay, if that's what you want to do, put it in. Then I look at everything that I need to do every month as a default. So at the end of every month, we have certain things that we do. So every month we have a team meeting between our team, right? A full team meeting to share if the vision's changed, if the mission's changed, to reinforce the culture, to establish the rules of our game, to get their ideas, to have a big brainstorming. We do that at the end of every month, right? That goes into diary. At the end of every month, we have a financial reporting day where we sit down and we look at all the numbers in as business and see where can we improve? Where can we improve as gross profit, as net profit? We look at profit and loss. We look at what corporation tax needs to be paid this month. We look at what VAT we need to pay this month. We put that into different VAT and corporation pots that we set up in Monzo as little savings pots. That happens every month. What do you do every month? Whatever it is, you write it down, you go and block it out. It needs doing, so go and block it out. Then what I do is I say, right, what do I do every single week as a default? And we'll do certain things every single week, exactly the same as you. No doubt every single week you've got to do wages or pay your team. During that week as well, you need to be surveying jobs. During that week, you need to be pricing jobs. Okay, you know you need to do this, so when you're going to find time to do it? Because for many of you, this is the type of stuff that you do at evening, when you shouldn't be doing it at evening, should you? You should be at evening, you should be doing your routines, you should be spending time with your family, you should be doing your hobbies, you should be enjoying yourself at an evening. Not working till 10 o'clock at night, surveying jobs, pricing jobs and doing all your paperwork. So what do you do every week? And please tell me that inside your online calendar, your appointment booking calendar, or your paper diary or whatever you're using, please tell me you have set days at set times where you're going to do your surveys. Don't tell me that you're just waiting for the phone to ring and it's an inquiry and then you're looking at your diary and seeing where you can squeeze people in. You should be setting time in your default diary every week that I'm only going to do surveys, for example, on a Monday afternoon, 2 while 4. On a Wednesday morning, 8 while 9. And maybe you do one evening a week. Let's say Thursday evening at tea time, 5 while 7. You set your times and you don't let your customers dictate to you when they want you to come and do a survey. Or can you come out at 9 o'clock on Friday night? Absolutely not. No, but there'll be some of you that are doing that. So what do you do every single week? Block that time out. It needs to be done, so block it out. And then finally, what do you do every single day? And then write that down. Things such as checking emails. I no doubt you do that on a daily basis. But come on, team. Surely you're not checking your emails more than twice a day. Please don't tell me you're one of these who are checking their emails constantly throughout the day. Why are you doing that? Why are you wasting time? Unless you're a business that does emergency call-outs, like let's say like an emergency plumber, where you've got water peeing through the ceiling. I get that, right? I get emergency call-outs. But for everybody else, surely you can check your emails in the morning at a time that you set. Let's say you check them at 8 o'clock in the morning. You don't have to check your emails throughout the entire day then till surely 4 o'clock. Check them in the morning, check them at tea time or whatever 2 times of the day that you set. You don't want to be checking your emails every 5 minutes. It's like social media. You've got to be disciplined. You see me all over social media. I'm sure you do. If you follow me, there'll not be a day go by where you don't see some of my content. I'm not sat on social media all day, every day. I have 2 set times a day where I go in, do what I need to do, and then I'm out. Are you with me? So there's certain things that you'll do every day, but you don't need to keep checking. You don't need to keep jumping on. How many times a day do you jump onto social media? Oh, just while I'm waiting for this delivery, I'll just jump onto social media. And then you're wasting your time. You're going to get dragged into something before you know it. Half an hour's gone and it's like, oh, I'm behind. You've got to be disciplined when it comes to time management. So that's what I do with the default diary. And I plot all that lot in first. Now, the first time you do this, you're going to plot stuff in and you're going to go, well, hang on a minute. Where do I find the time to do the work on the tools? Where do I find time to do all this other stuff? Well, if that's the case, that then means that you're working too many hours because you're trying to fit too much in to a short space of time. And this is why we need to niche down and look at bringing systems in to help you sort all that out so you can get done everything that you want to get done in the select amount of time that you choose to work. Are you with me? And then what I do, once I've got that default diary set for my business, I'll then go and say, right, what do I do personally? Because my personal stuff comes before my business. My business don't dictate to me. My business don't own me. I've got a work-life choice. I can do what I want when I want, and my business won't dictate that. So what I'll do is I'll look at everything that I do. Again, same, yearly, 6-month, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. And that goes into my default diary. And what I do is I colour code things, right? So, for example, anything I do regarding coaching goes into my default diary and I change it to blue. So it shows up as blue in my calendar. All my personal stuff, my morning routine, going at match, going at gym, all that type of stuff is set in yellow. Taking my daughter to gymnastics and picking her up and doing all that, it's all in yellow. Any working on the business that I do to develop the business is all sectioned off as green. So I can switch my default diary on and have a look at it. And just from the colours, I can see what I'm doing. But at least then everything is planned in. Everything's in that diary that I need to do. So when I get up on a Monday morning and I switch my laptop on, I'm not having to think, what am I supposed to be doing this week? I forgot to do that last week. I should have put it in my default diary this week. And I just get up in a Monday morning, switch my diary on and go, right, what am I doing this week? Because everything is planned. I'm not guessing. I'm not thinking. I ain't got anxiety. I'm not feeling overwhelmed because my diary runs my time. My diary runs my life. I switch it on and I go, right, this is what you've got booked in this week, Craig. You've allocated time to do it. As long as you get done what you said you're going to get done this week, you'll move yourself one step to that next level. And that's it. Now, to delve down deeper into that strategy, go and check out episode number 4. Because in episode number 4, I go into more context of what a default diary is and how you're going to use it. So that's episode number 4. Step number 4. I want you to write down the simple two-letter word that most business owners cannot bring themselves to say, and that is the word no. N-O, no. You see, while ever you keep nodding your head and while ever you keep wanting to people please, right, and you keep saying yes to everything, the more you keep nodding your head and saying yes, the less time you've got. And sometimes you're almost a victim of your own self-doing because you can't say no to people or no to tasks or no to yourself. You keep saying yes. Now, what I want you to think about here is this. Write down the word time bank. Time bank. And what I mean by a time bank is this. Just like you go and put your money into a bank, the reason why you're putting the money into the bank is, number one, the bank is going to keep your money safe and ideally nobody's going to steal it. Yes, I know in today's day and age you've got cyber security and theft and fraud and all that, but come on, you usually go to a bank and you put your money into your bank to keep it safe. Number two, the second purpose behind having a bank account is so that that bank account can grow. It starts to multiply and therefore your bank balance is going up, right? Not down or not overdrawn, because if it's going down or you're overdrawn, clearly something you're doing in your business is terribly wrong. So I want you to think of time being a bank. So when you get up on, let's say, a Monday morning, start of a new week, and your eyes open, let's say you get up at 6 o'clock on a Monday morning, the minute your eyes open, I want you to think that you've just deposited 168 hours into a bank. And every minute and every action and every task and everything you choose to dedicate time to is withdrawing an element of those 168 hours. So you're going to get up in the morning, you're going to go and spend an hour at gym, right? Might be an hour and a half, 15-minute drive there, an hour in gym, 15 minutes drive back. So you're going to take 1.5 hours out of your 168 hours. So now your hours are dropping down. Now what you've got to think about is everything that you're currently doing in your business and your life, the idea behind building time and financial freedom is you get to the end of that week managing to get everything that you wanted to get done in your business done, everything you wanted to get done in your personal life done, and ideally you still want to have some hours left in the bank to invest into doing what you want to do. But sadly, for the vast majority of business owners, they could actually work 168 hours a week just on the business and in the business to get everything done. Never mind the personal life and everything else they've got to fit in and the hobbies and all that lot. And that is why we start to give up and sacrifice the things that make us happy. Because the business is now dictating our time. We're working more hours inside the business than we're working on ourselves and dedicating to ourselves and as family. And we get to the end of the week and there's still not enough time to get everything done, which is why some of you will get to the end of every week and you've still got a to-do list as long as your arm because you haven't got time to have done it all in the week. So now that rolls over and that to-do list then gets done over weekend. And then it rolls over into the following week. Are you with me? So once I understood this, I'm like, okay, so I've got 168 hours to fit everything in. I'm going to niche down, which is going to help. I'm going to put the systems in place, which is massively going to help. I'm going to start creating this default diary and getting more organized and more productive with my time. But what's the one thing that I can do that can instantly save me time like now? Because niching down is going to take your time. Putting systems in place is going to take your time. Putting a default diary in place is going to take some time. But the one thing that's not going to take time is you learning to say no. No. That's it. No. But we can't do it, can we? You know, when we've invested time, effort and money into marketing and creating social media posts and paying for websites, and we get a lead coming, but that customer can only be around on Sunday afternoon at 3:00 and you're trading your time for money, then you're going to say yes, give up your time at the weekend for a customer because you're not organised, because you haven't set up the systems and the default diary. So now you're giving your Sunday up. And I'm sure you've had them customers whilst you're on a job. Oh, Craig, whilst you're here, can you just... And you go, yeah, even though that job's behind and you've already had to push the next customer back, you say yes. And it's like, oh, it's going to take me another 3 hours or another day. Are you with me? You can't bring yourself to say, Mrs. Jones, do you know what? I'd love to be able to do you that right now. But unfortunately, I've got another customer that's waiting and we've got to start her job tomorrow morning. Now, if I were to keep saying yes to everybody that we'd love to do, it'd mean putting that customer off again. And we haven't put you off, and we would never put our customers off. So therefore, unfortunately, I can't do that now. But what I can do, Mrs. Jones, is let me just check my default diary and find out when we can come back next week and fit you that in. How does that sound? And more than likely, they'll go, yeah, Craig, I understand you can't put customers off. I won't want that doing to myself. So yeah, what time have you got available? But you don't. You go, I need to get paid off this job. I don't want a 1-star review. So yes, I'll do it. Then all of a sudden, you're sat there going, why have I said that? I ain't got time. And again, another one that I used to be guilty of. Like, you're getting these leads coming in and you're winning the work. You're pricing the jobs and you win the work. But then the customer says, oh, I can't wait that long. I need it doing like before then. And you don't want to lose the job because you've already invested time into generating the lead, going out and looking at the job, surveying the job, pricing the job, communication with customer. They want to go ahead, but you're booked up. You can't touch it. You chock-a-block for 3 months or 3 weeks or whatever it is. And then what do you go and say? You go, do you know what? Yes, I can fit you in, Mrs. Jones. We'll fit you in. And then you now know that you've got to stay late on jobs. You've got to put 2 Saturdays or 2 weekends in to make sure that you can get the other jobs done quicker to fit that job in. And now you're just creating more stress for yourself and more overwhelm for yourself because you can't learn to say the word no. And write this down. There's 3 things that you've got to start to learn to say no to, right? The first one is what I call time drains. Write it down. Time drains. And what time drains are tasks. Not people, tasks that are going to drain your time, right? And you're going to start flitting from one thing to another. Or procrastination's setting and you don't know what to do. So you start on this, but then you stop halfway through and then you get sidetracked and you go and start something else. And you've got all these tasks going off and none of them are getting over the line. So you've got to start to say no to certain tasks and prioritise the order of those tasks and be disciplined to say, look, I know I've got 10 things that I need to do. I can't do all 10 at once. So I'm going to be disciplined to choose the one that's the most urgent and the most important out of the 10. I'm going to switch all distractions off. I'm going to get laser focused and I'm just going to do that one task. And if there's any other task that anybody else asks me to do, I'm going to say no. So you've got to start saying no to time drains, which are tasks that are going to sap your time. Number 2, write this down. Time bandits. Time bandits are people that are going to steal your time. They want to hijack your time to benefit them. And the obvious ones are customers. You know, customers ringing you at 8 and 9 o'clock at night or sending you an email and expecting a response from you at 9 o'clock at night. No. It's 9 o'clock at night. I'm reading my daughter a bedtime story. I'm not going to respond back to your text message at 9 o'clock at night. No. So it's customers. It's your team, your employees and your subbies that are wanting to sap your time because they're like babies and they need nappies on and they're ringing you up going, how do I do this? Customers ask about this extra. What do I need to do? I need to speak to you. I need to run everything past you because I can't make a decision myself because I've got no common sense. But you pay me 350 quid a day and I'm just a big baby. Do you get me? You've got to start saying, no, stop ringing me and asking stupid questions that you can make the decisions on. Try this as a tip. At your next team meeting, if you're having team meetings, get your team together and say, team, for these particular reasons, you can only contact me at 2 points throughout the day. Number one is between, let's say, 8:30 and 9, when you get to job, if anything's cropped up. And the second time is 4:30. Do not ring me, text me, WhatsApp me, audio message me on Facebook. Do not communicate with me unless it's an emergency. And what constitutes an emergency, team, are these things. But everything else, you've got to make the decision. You're grown-ass adults. Make the flipping decision. Stop badgering me. If we're going to grow this business and you want me to bring more work and keep you going, you're going to have to participate in helping grow this business. You're going to have to start making decisions and allowing me the time that I need to go and get more work in to keep us all going. So if you want to ask a question, ask it yourself and you answer it. You've got 2 points of the day where you can contact me unless it's an emergency. I'm telling you now, if you put that into your business, they'll stop ringing you. They'll stop texting you. They'll start making decisions for themselves because you've just changed the rules of the game. Are you with me? So number 2, you've got to stop saying yes to time bandits, which are people, including sales reps. You know, we used to have 7 loft conversions on go at any one time. And they'd send a sales rep out from let's say a national builders merchants that we used to use. And he'd drive to one of my jobs and he'd pull up with mugs and pens and notepads to give away. And as soon as one lad went down to his car and got pens and mugs, what happened then? Other 5 lads on that job are all down. Now all of a sudden, that sales rep has just stopped my job, 5 men on every job for probably 20 minutes. That's just cost me hundreds and hundreds of pounds in downtime. While they're talking crap with rep, oh, how did football go on this weekend and all this nonsense. But then it got worse because after he'd just robbed 300 or 400 quid of labour off me off one of my jobs, he'd drive to the next job and he'd do the exact same on the next job. And then he'd go to the next, and before I know it, he'd gone round 7 of my jobs, probably costing me £1,000 in downtime. So I said to all our reps, all our suppliers, no, do not send another rep to any of my jobs. Do not be ringing up asking if we want to order any materials or sheet materials or timber or whatever, insulation boards. Don't ring them. If we want you, we will ring you. So anybody that wants to sap your time, you've got to say no to. And the biggest culprit and the biggest person that's sapping their own time is the third person that you've got to start saying no to, and that is you, yourself. So just as you're about to do something that's not planned or you've not dedicated time to do it, you've got to rein yourself in and say, no, stop, Craig, stop. You haven't blocked this in your diary. You're actually working on this now. So don't go and do that and start spinning plates. Finish what you're doing now, and then whatever that idea you've just had is, put that in your diary. Go and find time in and put it in your diary to do at another date. And this is where many trades can get distracted, because there's that many distractions that we've got in today's day and age in business, isn't there? From phone ringing to emails pinging to Facebook to LinkedIn to TikTok, all these notifications, all this lot's going off. But in the back of your mind, you're going, I've got to get home tonight and I've got to look at that job on my way home. Then when I get home, I've got 2 jobs that I should have priced a couple of days ago that are behind. I've got to price them up. Oh, then I didn't ring Mrs. Jones up and answer that question. It's like you're being pulled from pillar to post by everything. You've got to learn to say to yourself, no, I'm sticking to the time that I've allocated in my default diary, and everything else has got to wait. And I'm telling you now, if you just stick doing one thing and get that over the line, then bring the next one forward and get that over the line, you will become more productive and more efficient and get more done in less time than you trying to do 5 things all at the same time and spinning plates, because when you do that, you become unproductive and nothing gets finished. Are you with me? So you've got to start to learn to say the word no. No's not negative. If said in the right manner, it's not negative. And it's going to protect your time. And you can start doing that right now. So I know for sure that within 24 hours of you listening to this podcast, you are going to want to go and start doing a task that you've not planned. You are going to get attacked by someone who wants to rob and steal your time, a time bandit. And you are going to want to keep doing and spinning plates instead of saying no. Now, when this comes on, I want you to have my voice ringing in your ears. No. And as soon as you say the word no, you've just protected an element of that 168 hours that's sat in your time bank, and you've not given permission for anyone or anything to steal it. Are you with me? And then it protects the time that you've got in. Saying no instantly is going to protect your time. You're going to save time by learning to say that magic word. Now, if you want to dig down deeper into learning to say the word no, I've got an episode number 81, episode 81, which is called How Saying No Will Save You 15 hours a week, increase your profits, and reduce the amount of stress and overwhelm that you are putting yourself under. Remember, nobody's putting you under this. Nobody's holding a gun to your head telling you to work stupid hours a week. You're choosing to do it for all the reasons we've covered off in this episode. So let's just have a quick recap of what I'm going to ask you to do as part of your action tasks that you're taking away from this session today. Number 1, you're going to look at niching down, right? You've got to look at your numbers. You've got to look at the easiest way of making money for the quickest amount of time. Number 1 is niching. Number 2, get them systems put in place once and for all. Yes, it takes time to invest into putting the systems in, but trust me, once they're in and they're up and running, you'll get your time back instantly. Number 3, you're going to create a default diary. And in all honesty, do you know, if you mapped all this lot out before you went and started plotting stuff in a diary, and honestly, you wrote down all the things that you do annually, 6 monthly, quarterly, monthly, weekly and daily. If you wrote those down, then I had a good think about that. 2 hours, right, thinking about that, locked away on your own in a quiet room, you come up with everything that you do within 2 hours. You then flick your Google diary on, your ServiceMate, Leadzilla, whatever diary you're using, and then you've got it all written down and you go and plot it on. Another 2 or 3 hours plotting time into your diary, you've got a default diary built. I'm saying that you could, within less than 6 hours, create the ultimate default diary that will run your business and your life. All you need to do is find 4, 5, 6 hours max to get that done. And the final one, which is, I'm going to say the easiest, it's the easiest and quickest to implement because you just say the word no. But you training your subconscious mind and getting yourself out of the bad habit of saying yes to everything takes a bit of time. But saying the word no, you're going to instantly save your time in your time bank. Now, what I'd love you to do from this episode is either come into our free Trades Freedom Club Facebook group and community, or if you're a member of our Growth Club, come into our Growth Club private community and tell me that you've listened to episode number 105. And out of these 4 areas that we've just covered, which one are you going to focus on now? Because in all honesty, to try and focus on all 4 at once, think about what I've just said, you're going to be spinning too many plates. You need to focus on one of them, get that done first, then move on to the others. But these are the 4 things that I did that took me from working seriously 90 hours a week to working 1 to 2 days a week, making more profit than I'd ever made before, but more importantly, giving me that valuable time back so I've got a choice of where I want to invest my time. Now, I'm going to leave you with one of my most popular phrases that all my Inner Circle and Growth Club members know off heart. And it's this. What is the quickest, easiest, risk-free way of you making money for the least amount of time? Let me say it again. What is the quickest, easiest, risk-free way of you making money for the least amount of time? Because when you break that phrase down, that's exactly what business is all about. What is the quickest? In today's day and age, we don't want to be doing what I did and wait 12 years before you realise you've been flogging a dead horse and you've been a busy fool. That wasn't quick. So number 1, what's quick? Number 2, easy. What is easy? Offering 15 different services from shop fitting to bench joinery to finishing joinery, first, second fix. That wasn't easy, right? It was hard. It was hard work. So what is going to be easy for you? Number 3, risk-free. What we don't want to do is choose a product or a service that comes with high risk, right? The risk that we want to put into our business needs to be the minimum amount of risk to us. Number 4, of making money for the least amount of time. And what I mean by this is, think about it. When you leave your house or office in the morning to get in your van, and you're going to go and work, let's say, for 8, 9, 10 hours, whether you're on tools or in your own office, does it not make sense for you to think, right, during these 8, 9 or 10 hours that I'm going to invest, I need to make the maximum amount of profit? And I don't mean ripping people off. I don't mean doing things unethical, because that's wrong. I just mean, take me back to my scenario. If I'm going to leave my house and get in my van, would it be more beneficial for me to go and spend 8 hours building a loft or 8 hours fitting an 8 kite winding flight of stairs for a builder on an extension? The answer is me doing lofts. Why? Because I run the numbers. So every day when you leave your house, you've got to make sure that you're making the maximum amount of profit for the least amount of time invested. And if we choose products and services that allows us to do all of that, then ultimately you will achieve time and financial freedom. If you do not, you will end up trading your time for money, and that is the wrong way around. So once again, what is the quickest, easiest, risk-free way of you making money for the least amount of time? I'll catch up with you on next week's episode, and I'll meet you at the top. Thank you.